And small businesses are having a hard time keeping a positive outlook recently. We already know that the Small Business Optimism Index hit an all-time low. One of the top concerns, worker shortage. Half of all business owners surveyed say they can't fill open positions. I asked one expert for advice on this. Joining me now is Karli Waldon. She's the president and COO of Talent War Group. It's good to have you, Karli.
Hey, thanks for having me today.
Average American worker lost almost $3,500 in annual wages because of inflation. How can employers help employees manage and alleviate some of the pressure?
Sure, absolutely. So there's several creative ways to go about this, and they're all going to be based around compensation. The first one is obviously looking at to make sure that your employees are being paid competitively against the market. But there's other ways such as looking at remote and hybrid options. We did that during COVID, and a lot of organizations found out that they were super successful at it, right? And so that at the gas pump, that's really that's the number one thing that employees are feeling right now. So if businesses have the opportunity to kind of go back to that, that's one way to help. With alleviating the inflation surge for your employees. Another way about going about it is maybe paying your employees full benefits, right? It's still helping them, alleviating some of that burden. And then another one is to look at your merit and bonus increase cycles. Typically, they're held within the first quarter of the year, but if you can, as an organization, maybe look at bumping that up before Thanksgiving time, right before Christmas, and providing those merit increases and bonuses.
And we just saw that inflation is still running hot. We do not know where the peak is. I'm asking you, how do you see things play out on the job market throughout the rest of the year?
And here's the thing is that employers are going to have to be competitive with their wages because that is what the job market is demanding. When companies are going on hiring freezes and contracting wages all at the same time, what it's doing is it's putting an increased workload on their existing employees, which is ultimately going to result in higher attrition numbers, and they're going to end up in a worse place than they were if they weren't investing in the current talent that they have on board right now.
So am I understanding you correctly, you still think a pay raise would be the right way to go?
It's one way. It's one way to go about it. We have to absolutely equip our leaders who are running and leading and managing the employees, especially the employees that are at the bottom of the organization. This is where inflation is hitting the hardest right now. When you're talking about maybe a single mom who a year ago was paying $40 to fill up her gas tank is now having to pay $100, right? Going down to just a first step, going down to the bottom of your organization and leaning in and having those conversations.
Thanks a lot for your advice on this. I appreciate it. Karli Waldon, Talent War Group.
Thank you for having me.